The next chapter we are going to start is equilibrium. So first topic we will discuss about the chemical equilibrium. See, what is equilibrium? So basically equilibrium is a state of a system. So equilibrium is a state of system in which its measurable properties like temperature, pressure, number of moles, concentration, color, all these are the measurable properties becomes constant is called equilibrium state. So what is equilibrium? Equilibrium is the state of a system in which its measurable properties like temperature, pressure, moles, concentration, color, etc. becomes constant is called equilibrium state. Now we will discuss the equilibrium into two parts. One is chemical equilibrium and one is physical equilibrium. So chemical equilibrium is basically equilibrium involving chemical changes. So in chemical equilibrium involving chemical changes, like for example when N2 reacts with H2 gives NH3. So this is basically a chemical change. Now what is physical equilibrium? Physical equilibrium is equilibrium involving physical changes like water from liquid state changes into gaseous state. There is no chemical change, only state changes from liquid to gas. So this is a physical change. See, now first we will discuss chemical equilibrium. What is chemical equilibrium? See, chemical equilibrium is basically, in chemical equilibrium we first require the definition of reversible reactions. So what is reversible reaction? Reversible reactions are the reactions which can move in both direction, forward direction and backward direction. For example, N2 and H2 can combine to form NH3, and also ammonia can decompose into H2 and N2 gas. So this reaction can move in forward direction and also in backward direction. So this is the sign of basically reversible reaction. So reversible reactions are those reactions which can move in both forward and backward directions. See, and these reactions never completed. These reactions never completed and will finally attain equilibrium. Now we will discuss the irreversible reactions. See, what is irreversible reactions? Irreversible reactions are the reactions which move only in single direction. So these are the reactions which move in single direction and cannot be reversed. For example, neutralization reaction. When acid and base combine, form salt and water. So this is an example of irreversible reaction. It can move only in single direction, cannot be reversed. See, some more examples of irreversible reactions are, one is precipitation reaction. When AgNO3 reacts with NaCl, it forms a PPT of AgCl and NaNO3. It is also irreversible reaction. Like combustion reaction, when methane gas on combustion gives CO2 and water. So these are the examples of irreversible reaction. And also irreversible reaction always go for completion. Irreversible reaction always go for completion. Therefore, equilibrium can only be attained in reversible reactions only. So one of the main feature of equilibrium is equilibrium can be attained only in reversible reactions only. Now chemical equilibrium divided into two parts. One is homogeneous equilibrium and one is heterogeneous equilibrium. See, chemical equilibrium is divided into two parts. One is homogeneous equilibrium. What is homogeneous equilibrium? See, when all the reactants and products in the reaction are in same physical state. For example, in case of this reaction, when N2 combines with H2, it forms NH3, and the physical state of reactant is gas and the physical state of product is also gas. So reactant and product are in same physical state, therefore when equilibrium is established, this is called homogeneous equilibrium. Also in another example, when HI gas decompose into H2 and I2. Here also product and reactants have the same physical state. Therefore, it is also an example of homogeneous equilibrium. Similarly, when ethanoic acid reacts with ethanol, it forms ester. As we can see that there is also same physical state. Reactants are in liquid phase and products also are in liquid phase. So this is an example of homogeneous equilibrium. Now we will see heterogeneous equilibrium. So basically, heterogeneous equilibrium is what? When physical state are not same. When the physical state of reactant and product are not same. For example, when calcium carbonate decompose into calcium oxide plus CO2. So physical state of product is gas, while the physical state of reactant is solid. So all the reactants and products must have the same physical state for homogeneous. Therefore, this is heterogeneous equilibrium. And also their reactants in gaseous state, product in liquid state. So it is an also example of heterogeneous equilibrium. See next. In this case also, reactant in gas, reactant also in liquid, and product in aqueous phase. So this is also an example of heterogeneous equilibrium. Now we will see the characteristics of chemical equilibrium. See, what are the characteristics of chemical equilibrium? So, chemical equilibrium can only attained in a reversible reaction. So, first characteristics of chemical equilibrium is chemical equilibrium can only be attained in a reversible reaction. And these reversible reaction carried out in a closed container. So, reaction must be reversible and the container in which reaction is takes place must be a closed container, because if container is not closed, then the products will escape out. So basically the purpose of a closed container is products are not allowed to escape. Like for example, if this reaction takes place in an open container, then CO2 gas will escape out. Therefore, this reaction must be carried out in a closed container. And the second characteristics of chemical equilibrium is the rate of forward reaction decreases and the rate of backward reaction increases and both become equal. So basically, the main point is when equilibrium is attained. So at equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to the rate of backward reaction. So at equilibrium always rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. Now we will see the graph of equilibrium. See, this is the graph. As we can see that this is the rate of forward reaction. As rate of forward reaction decreases and rate of backward reaction increases till a point. And after this point both becomes equal. So when rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reaction becomes equal, then we can say that this state is an equilibrium state. So equilibrium state is defined rate of forward reaction equal to rate of backward reaction. So rate of forward reaction decreases and rate of backward reaction increases till a point, and the point after which it becomes equal called equilibrium state. So basically the next point is, as we know, when reaction takes place, the concentration of reactant will decrease and concentration of product will increase, and both becomes constant when equilibrium is attained. The next characteristics of chemical equilibrium is equilibrium can be attained. Equilibrium can be attained from both product side or reactant side. So when calcium carbonate decompose into calcium oxide plus CO2, so basically in this reaction equilibrium is attained from the reactant side. If we reverse the reaction, then calcium oxide and carbon dioxide combine to form calcium carbonate. So in this reaction equilibrium is attained from the product side. So this is the basic point. It is not necessary that reactant is it is not necessary that equilibrium is attained always from the reactant side. It can be attained from both sides, product side as well as from reactant side. See the next point. Next point is chemical equilibrium is dynamic in nature. Chemical equilibrium is dynamic in nature. So basically the meaning of dynamic in nature is none of the forward and backward reaction stops. None of the forward and backward reaction stops, but both are moving at the same rate. As state of equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So both are moving at same rate and therefore there is no change observed. See, the next topic we are going to discuss is law of mass action. What is law of mass action? Basically, according to law of mass action, the rate of a reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses. So basically, according to law of mass action, the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses of reactants, and these reactants raised to some power, and the power is its stoichiometric coefficients, See, now if a reaction takes place like N1 moles of A and N2 moles of B gives product. So basically, according to law of mass action, the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the product of active mass of reactants. Active mass of reactants are A and B, and each reactant raised to some power, like N1, N2, which is their stoichiometric coefficient. So basically, the stoichiometric coefficient of reactant A active mass is N1, and the stoichiometric coefficient of reactant B active mass is N2. So in this way we can write the rate of reaction using law of mass action. To remove the proportionality sign, we will use a constant K. This constant is called rate constant. And depends only on temperature. It increases only with increase in temperature. So rate constant is basically a function of temperature only, and this is the rate law. Now we will classify what is active mass. See, what is active mass? So basically, active mass can be written in both phase. See, the reactant may be in the solution phase, or reactant may be in the gaseous phase. So if we are writing the active mass in solution phase like aqueous, then active mass will be the concentration. And concentration we express in molarity. See, if active mass in the form of gaseous phase, then active mass will be pressure of gas, or active mass may be concentration. So in gas phase, active mass can be pressure of gas, active mass can be concentration, while in solution phase, aqueous phase, active mass is always concentration, which is molarity. See, note one point. The point is the active mass for pure solid and pure liquid is always constant. So the active mass of pure solid and pure liquid is always constant. It means we will take the active mass of pure solids and pure liquids equal to 1. So it is taken a unity for calculation purpose. Now we are going to write equilibrium constant from the reaction at equilibrium. See, what is equilibrium constant? See, reaction is going in both direction, forward as well as backward. This is the Kf, which is rate constant for forward. Kf is the rate constant of forward reaction, and Kb is the rate constant of backward reaction. So equilibrium constant is the ratio of rate constant of forward reaction divided by rate constant of backward reaction. So it is the ratio of Kf upon Kb. And we know that equilibrium constant only depends on temperature. So equilibrium constant depends only on temperature. Now we are going to write the rate constant. See, consider a reversible reaction. Consider a reversible reaction. N1 moles of A, N2 moles of B gives N3 moles of C and N4 moles of D. So Kf is the rate constant forward direction, Kb is the rate constant backward direction. So basically first write the forward reaction, N1 moles of A, N2 moles of B, Kf, N3 moles of C and N4 moles of D. By using law of mass action, we can write the rate. Rate of forward reaction will be Kf into active mass is A and B. So active mass A or B in the form of concentration. And active mass raised to power stoichiometric coefficient. So stoichiometric coefficient of A N1, stoichiometric coefficient of B is N2. Same way we can write the backward reaction. Backward reaction is N3 moles of C plus N4 moles of D. Equilibrium constant Kb changes into N1 moles of A and N2 moles of B. As we have seen, equilibrium can be achieved from both direction, forward as well as from backward direction. See, so we can write the rate of backward reaction also. So rate of backward reaction will be Kb, concentration of C, reactant is C raised to the power N3, reactant D raised to the power N4. And we know at equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction equal to rate of backward reaction. Now equate the rate. So basically rate of forward reaction we have calculated Kf, A ki power N1, B ki power N2. Rate of backward reaction is Kb, C ki power N3 and B raised to the power N4. As we know, equilibrium constant is the ratio of Kf upon Kb. So separate Kf upon Kb, then it will be C raised to the N3, D raised to the N4 divided by A raised to the N1 and B raised to the N2. So now this is called as equilibrium constant, which is the ratio of concentration of products divided by concentration of reactants, and these concentrations are the active masses of products and reactants and raised to the power stoichiometric coefficients. So basically equilibrium constant, which is K divided further into two parts, So basically equilibrium constant divided into Kc and Kp. So when equilibrium constant is Kc, then we will take active mass concentration. When equilibrium constant Kp, then we take active mass pressure. And we know pure solids and pure liquids, the value of active mass is unity, that is 1. Now we will write one homogeneous reaction. So for homogeneous reaction, the reaction is given. The reaction is given as N2 plus 3 moles of H2 change into 2 moles of NH3. Write Kp. Since in gaseous reaction, when we write Kp, then the active mass we write in the terms of pressure. So it will be the partial pressure of NH3 and raised to the power 2 because coefficient is 2. So partial pressure of NH3 raised to the power 2 divided by the partial pressure of N2 and coefficient is 1. Therefore partial pressure of N2 raised to the power 1 multiply by partial pressure of H2 and raised to the power 3 because coefficient is 3. We may also write active mass for gaseous reactants and product in the form of concentration also, because for gaseous we may write active mass pressure as well as concentration. So when we take the concentration, then equilibrium constant will be Kc. So what is the value of Kc? Now the Kc will be concentration of NH3 and coefficient is 2. So it will be concentration of NH3 raised to the power 2 divided by the concentration of N2 raised to the power 1 into concentration of H2 raised to the power 3. So their square brackets basically represents the concentration terms. So we can write Kp and Kc both for gaseous reaction. Now consider the another reaction. The another reaction is, in this reaction H2 gas and I2 gas changes into Hi. We can write Kp for this reaction, which is partial pressure of Hi raised to the power 2 divided by partial pressure of H2 into partial pressure of I2. As gaseous phase, we can also write Kc but for Kc active mass will be concentration. So concentration of Hi square divided by concentration of H2 into concentration of I2. We may also write for aqueous phase, but aqueous phase we can write only. In aqueous phase we can write only concentration term. So Kc will be concentration of NH4 plus and concentration of OH negative divided by concentration of NH4OH. See, similarly, for the reaction, when copper 2 plus ion forms a complex with ammonia, forms this one complex. Now again aqueous phase is there, so we can write only Kc. So Kc for this reaction will be concentration of this complex divided by concentration of copper plus ion, concentration of NH3 raised to the power 4, as their coefficient is 4. So raised to the power 4. See, so we have seen Kc and Kp for the homogeneous reactions. Now we will see for heterogeneous reactions. See, for heterogeneous reactions, as we can see that reactants products are in solid and gas phase, so reaction is heterogeneous. When we write equilibrium constant, so we have learned that for solids we take the active mass equal to 1. So calcium oxide solid, also calcium carbonate solid, so we take active mass equal to 1 for this and this. So now equilibrium constant will be only when we take concentration of CaO, concentration of CO2 divided by concentration of calcium carbonate. These two are unity because these are solids. So now equilibrium constant will be equal to the concentration of CO2. See, we may also write Kp for this reaction, as there is only CO2 gas, so Kp will be partial pressure of CO2 and Kc is concentration of CO2. Like the reaction is NH4HS changes into ammonia and H2S. When we write Kp, then we include the gaseous phase with pressure only. So coefficient is 1, partial pressure of ammonia raised to the power 1 multiply by partial pressure of H2S, this is also gas, raised to the power 1 divided by solid, so solid we take 1. Also we can write Kc, so Kc will be concentration of NH3 multiply by concentration of H2S. See the next reaction. Next reaction is KClO4 solid changes into KClO4 solid, KClO3 solid plus O2. If we write Kp, then there is only gaseous term, so partial pressure of O2. Because solids we take 1. We may also write Kc, gaseous phase we can take active mass, pressure as well as concentration. So Kc will be only concentration of O2 because concentration of solid is unity. So Kc will be concentration of O2 only. Now we are going to discuss relation between Kp and Kc. The next topic. See, the next topic is relation between Kp and Kc for gaseous reaction. So consider a homogeneous reaction. Consider a homogeneous reaction in which N1 moles of A and N2 moles of B reacts to form N3 moles of C and N4 moles of D. As all are in gaseous phase, we can write Kp for this reaction. So Kp for this reaction will be partial pressure of C raised to the power coefficient, which is N3, multiply by partial pressure of D raised to the power coefficient, which is N4, divided by the partial pressure of A raised to the power N1 because coefficient is N1, multiply by partial pressure of B raised to the power N2. So we have written the Kp for this reaction. See now, as we know, as for ideal gases, the equation is PV equal to nRT. Now we can divide volume by number of moles. So pressure will be number of moles per unit volume into RT. As we know, number of moles per unit volume is basically a concentration term, is called molarity. So partial pressure will be concentration into R into T. So P equal to CRT. C is basically concentration, molarity. If we have general term, now we can find partial pressure of A. So what is the partial pressure of A? So partial pressure of A will be concentration of A, R into T will remain same. In the same way, partial pressure of B will be concentration of B into RT. In the same way, partial pressure of C will be concentration of C into RT. In the same way, partial pressure of D will be concentration of D into RT. So basically Kp is what? Kp is partial pressure of C raised to the power n3. So now we will put the pressure. As Kp we have seen, we have pressures now in the form of concentration. So Kp is basically this one, partial pressure of C, D, A, B raised to the power their coefficients. So now we will put the pressure. Now we will put the pressure. C. So Kp will be partial pressure of C, which is concentration of C into RT raised to power n3, and partial pressure of D, which is concentration of D into RT raised to the power n4, divided by, which is partial pressure of A, which is CaRT raised to the power n1, into concentration into partial pressure of B, which is CbRT raised to the power n2. Now separate the concentration term. As concentration of C raised to the power n3 multiply by concentration of D raised to the power n4, concentration of A raised to the power n1 multiply by concentration of B raised to the power n2. So this is basically concentration when there is active mass in the form of concentration. So when active mass in the form of concentration, then we can write the ratio of product and reactant is equilibrium constant, which is Kc. Now separate RT. As there is RT raised to the power n3, RT raised to the power n4. So basically RT raised to the power base is same, so power will be added, n3 plus n4. Now RT raised to the power n1 plus n2, but when it will go above, then it will be RT raised to the power minus n3 plus n4 minus n1 minus n2, then minus n1 plus n2. So this is basically Kc. So now we have relation, final relation, which is Kp equal to Kc, Kp equal to Kc RT raised to our delta Ng. What is delta Ng? Delta Ng is basically total number of moles, gaseous moles, total number of gaseous moles of products. So what is Ng? Delta Ng is total number of gaseous moles of product minus total number of gaseous moles of reactant. Now we will write relation between Kp and Kc for the reactions. See the reaction. The reaction is N2 plus 3H2 changes into 2NH3. First we write delta Ng for this reaction. Delta Ng for this reaction is Np minus Nr. Np in gaseous state. See number of moles in gaseous state in product, which is 2, minus number of moles of reactant in gas phase. So 1 and 3, 4. So reactants moles are 4. So delta Ng value is minus 2. Now we will write Kp for this reaction. So Kp for this reaction will be, as delta Ng is minus 2, product minus reactant in gas phase. So Kp equal to Kc R2 to the power minus 2. So what is Kp? Kp will be Kc by RT square. Now we are going to discuss next question. The next question is in which calcium carbonate decomposes into calcium solid plus CO2. In this case delta Ng is solid we not take, product in gas phase only 1 mole, reactant no mole. So 1 minus 0 is 1. So now Kp equal to Kc R2 to the power delta Ng, which is 1. See the next question. The next question is when H2I2 changes into 2Hi. So number of moles of product in gas state is 2 and number of moles of reactant in gas phase is 1, which is 2. So delta Ng will be 0. Now Kp will be equal to Kc R2 to the power delta Ng, which is 0. Now we can see that Kp, as if the power is 0, then the value is 1. So therefore for this reaction Kp equal to Kc. See the next question. The question comes in AIMS 2012. The question is, what is the ratio of Kp by Kc for the following reaction? The reaction is given. First we find delta Ng for this reaction. What is delta Ng? Product minus reactant. So 1 minus product in gas 1 mole and in reactant 1 plus 1 by 2. So basically 1 minus 3 by 2. So this is equal to minus 1 by 2. So delta Ng is minus 1 by 2 for this reaction. See. So we have find the delta Ng for this reaction -1/2. So Kp will be equal to Kc R to the power -1/2. So Kp by Kc equal to how much? 1 upon under root RT. So this is the correct answer. Next we will see in next lecture.